नमस्ते अस्तु भगवन् विश्वेश्वराय महादेवाय त्रयम्बकाय त्रिपुरान्तकाय त्रिकालाग्निकालाय कालाग्निरुद्राय नीलकण्ठाय मृत्युञ्जयाय सर्वेश्वराय सदाशिवाय श्रीमन्महादेवाय नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Yes. We'll chant the whole thing tonight, so you can correct the swaras. Now, since it's a working class and a working day, we will move on with where we are. So, after having saluted the Satvanaha means the attendants. You know, Satvanaha is all yesterday. All the Shiva Ganas, everything that makes this world has to be run, you know. And Bhagavan is there. Bhagavan is appointing, this is the idea, appointing various celestials. Not that there is some CEO and then, you know, this certain directors, not like that. But that's the only way the human mind can grasp. Because the human mind is a hierarchical and categorical mind. So it wants to see who is the boss of that, who is the boss of that, like that. So this is what the human mind. So from the standpoint of the human mind, we can have yakshas, you know, low-level chaiwalas, celestials, you know, bringing tea to the other devatas, gandharvas, musical devatas, you know, and kinnaras, you know, instrumental devatas. Instrumental means playing instruments, yeah. And yeah, as opposed to vocal, instrumental devatas, then vocal devatas, then karma devatas. You know, ye karmana devataha apiyanti, you know. So they what do? They please the other devatas with their karma, you know, they're like that. So like this, so many hierarchies are given just for the human mind to be able to grasp. So attendance means you don't think that Shiva has some, Rudra has some people under his employ. Those are all Rudras too. It's only from the standpoint of the form and the function that we have even the idea of attendant, you know. That is the whole thing. Because, you know, if everything is Bhagavan, this is a concept that is both simultaneously easy as well as difficult to grasp. Everything is Bhagavan sounds very simple. Yeah, everything is Bhagavan. You know, and then you say, okay, shoes are Bhagavan, then why do I have to leave the shoes, you know, at the door? Why can't I bring them in? They are Bhagavan. Socks are Bhagavan. You know, shoes are Bhagavan. Rock is Bhagavan. Everything. You know, it sounds wonderful, but then as soon as you start listing the things in the universe that are Bhagavan, then it starts to get a little confusing. Yeah. Because this is what the teenager will ask. If shoes are Bhagavan, why do they have to be kept over this way, you know? At the door, this is what every teenager will ask at home, you know. And this question is valid. You know why? Because this is where the confusion is. The confusion is in not being able to see what is meant by the statement Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. All that is here is very, you know, pervaded by Bhagavan. So this we have to see that this pervasion, you know, it has to be assimilated properly. And this pervasion is explained in a threefold manner so that, you know, the dim-witted jiva can grasp it a little better. That's all it is. Because we don't, you know, dim-witted means not that there is no intelligence. Intelligence is there in plenty. But it is dimmed. Why? The wit is dimmed because of ajnanam. Yeah. Because I don't know myself and because I have a whole host of, you know, what do I have? A whole host of wrong ideas. Yeah. And you want to keep it here? It will be better. So I have a whole host of wrong ideas. Not only do I not know myself, I have wrong ideas, and so these become a barrier to seeing Bhagavan incompletely. So the Upanishads and the Vedas, the first portion of the Vedas and the Upanishads, they help us out in understanding this statement that all that is here is only Bhagavan and nothing else. How to assimilate this, how to understand this best. And so there is a threefold way of understanding it. And this scheme is beautiful because it helps us to see what Bhagavan really is, and it helps us to see that this Bhagavan, the Sarveshwaratvam is exemplified through this Sarveshwaratvam and then Sarvatmakatvam and Sarvantaryamitvam. It's an overlay. This scheme helps us. And how do we understand this scheme? How do we internalize this scheme? And for this we have another scheme that overlays this, which is called this centered on the surroundings, Adhibhuta, Adhideva, centered on Bhagavan, centered on the laws of Bhagavan, and then finally what? Adhi-Atma, Adhideva and Adhibhuta. Adhideva means, and here we have a beautiful, a beautiful connection. We see this wonderfully. And you may take something very easy, a simple act. What is the act? Breathing in, breathing out. This is our act, So first what is there? What is there is Bhagavan. Everything is Bhagavan, correct? So that's why we can say, Namaste Vayo, Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. This Vayu is what? Surrounding me, correct? Adhibhuta, because I can feel it, I can sense it, I breathe it in. And this Vayu is also Bhagavan. Why? Because, from this Bhagavan only Vayu, the five elements have been created, correct? So then, first we'll take it as gross Vayu, Adhibhuta, which I can sense. And then what happens? Very funny. So, Adhibhuta Vayu, and then take a deep breath. You don't have to wait to exhale. Yeah, can exhale. So when you take a deep breath, that fullness in the lungs, can you call it Vayu now? What is inside? When it is taken in, what happened to Vayu? Vayu gaya, prana has come. Vayu has gone. No more Vayu. Vahu, you have to say. No Vayu. What has come now? It has become prana. And in another, shloka it says, prano vai Isvara. This prana is also Isvara. Why? Because I am breathing, you are breathing, everybody hopefully is breathing. And then, all the people in this room are breathing. And then all the people who are not in this room are also breathing. Correct? Yeah, it's a very good inference. Correct? And then, Devatas are breathing. Yeah, why? Prana Pratishtha. Because we have infused them with the prana. Devatas are breathing. Everybody is breathing. Correct? And now that it becomes a law, that which connects the Vayu to the prana, and that which connects the individual prani to all these, the way of breathing, choking, everything is included. Disorder, not breathing, and suddenly the Vayu, going in, deciding not to come out, that is also included. So this, so prano Ishvara, Adhyatma, this is also Ishvara. And the law that connects, there is a law which I don't sense, but it connects the prana with what? What does it connect the prana with? Vayu. There is a law. That is Adhideva. That the Vayu goes through a particular channel, correct? Called the windpipe. And then you take it in. And then if supposing there is some obstruction, the cough comes. Why? Because that law also governs the law of karma. So there is an overlay between the law of how the breathing takes place and then what? The law of individual karma. So there is what? Pulmonary disease, COPD, all these things are included in this law. So, Adhideva, Adhibhuta, Adhyatma. Then we say, all this is Isvara. This is much easier to grasp. Don't you see this? Yeah. Prana. So, what is in my lungs? Bhagavan. Prano vai Isvara. Then this prana now turned into Vayu because I exhaled. See, just the mere act of exhalation has made the prana turn into Vayu, back into Vayu. Of course, Dushita Vayu, carbon. Carbon, what is that? Monoxide and dioxide, all these things. So, carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide has come out, and of course, I have, that's what is called carbon footprint. That means, all the energy that you're already using up breathing, not your energy, the energy of the universe and all the elements in it, the resources. So therefore, if you make your cars breathe through the muffler and if you make all these, guzzling things breathe, then the whole planet is warming up. You see, this is what my own actions, Adhyatma, affecting the Adhibhuta, and there is a law, the collective law of the collective karma of all beings who have to suffer global warming. Correct? Our own actions being presented to us. So this threefold connection is very easy to assimilate. All this is Bhagavan. And if we look a little deeper, we can overlay that somewhat. Not a nice neat dovetailing overlay, but a somewhat nice overlay. We have, Adhideva, which means that which is centered on Bhagavan and the laws. And what is that? Sarva Ishvaratvam, Sarveshvaratvam, the one who is the maker of the laws, the one who deploys all the laws in the correct places at the correct times. And then, what is that? The next one? Sarveshvaratvam? Sarvatmakatvam Adhibhuta. That everything that has presence is the presence of Bhagavan alone. Sarva Antaryamitvam. What is that? Adhyatma. Antaryami. Antastishtan Yamayati. Antaryami. Yamayati means restrains, means makes everything go a certain way. Antastishtan. Staying indwelling the body, mind, sense complex. So that is definitely Adhyatma. So even though there are fancy words all starting with S, yeah, what is S? Sarveshvaratvam, Sarvatmakatvam, Sarvantaryamitvam, yeah, which is nothing other than our age-old, which we have, age-old means for Atlanta, we have been studying this, and what is that? What have we been studying?
Adhideva.
Yeah, Adhideva, Adhibhuta, and Adhyatma. So Adhideva is so Adhibhuta first we'll take because we are so much fixated with our surroundings. 5 elements, Vayu for example, and that Vayu internally taken becomes Adhyatma, Prana, and that Prana exhaled out, and the act of breathing and what connects me to the breathing and what connects me to all the breathing people is what is called the law, of both Vayu and the breath. And that is what is called Adhideva. See, very easy, not difficult at all. So this is what has to be understood, and that's what I wanted to make that a point, because this will help us as we go through, as we negotiate this. Okay. Pramuncha dhanvanasvam Ubhayoho Arnyoho Yorjyam Pramancha dhanvanasvam Ubhayorarnyor Yorjyam Yeah, there is a mistake there, that's why you are not able to follow it. Ubhayoho Arnyoho. It's not, shouldn't be Arni. Yeah. Arnyoho. Pramuncha dhanvanasvam Ubhayorarnyorjyam. Yeah. Arnyoho, there shouldn't be that break. And there shouldn't be that E. Archeorgiam. Okay? Yeah. Yashtate.
Yashtate.
Hasta Ishavaha.
Hasta Ishavaha.
Parata.
Parata.
Bhagavovapa.
Bhagavovapa.
Yashtate hasta Ishavah parata Bhagavovapa.
Yashtate hasta Ishavaha parata Bhagavovapa.
Hasta tatagta should go down, okay? Not just the head. The voice also should go down. Yashtate hasta Ishavah parata Bhagavovapa.
Yashtate hasta Ishavaha parata Bhagavovapa.
Avatatya.
Avatatya.
One more alankara. When there are two lows for us, you take the first one little lower than the next one. You know, it's not mentioned, but it is the convention. Yeah. Avatatya.
Avatatya.
Dhanustvagam.
Dhanustvagam.
Sahasraksha.
Sahasraksha.
Shate shudhe.
Shate shudhe.
Avatatya dhanustvagam sahasraksha shate shudhe.
Avatatya dhanustvagam sahasraksha shate shudhe.
Pramuncha dhanvanastvamubhayorarthnyorjyam.
Pramuncha dhanvanastvamubhayorarthnyorjyam.
Yashtate hasta ishavah parata bhagavovapa.
Yashtate hasta Ishavaha parata Bhagavovapa.
Avatatya dhanustvagam sahasraksha shate shudhe.
Avatatya dhanustvagam sahasraksha shate shudhe.
Beautiful, you know. Now we are visualizing Bhagavan. All this time we have been visualizing Bhagavan, who the devotee, you know, the jiva who is first scared of all the weaponry, correct? You see the weapon, you see the gun, you see the arrow, you see any ancient things. Yeah, come. So you see all the ancient things, and then what? And they see all the ancient ayudhas, weaponry, and they seem to be specially made for you. Shift this side. There it is. Perfect. So they seem to be specially directed all against me only. Correct? And each one in the world is thinking this. This is called the why me syndrome. Yeah. Which is a universal bimari. What is bimari? Sickness. Yakshma. You know, later on the word yakshma will come. This has to be included in the sickness because this is a manasa roga. Yes, it is a sickness of wrong understanding. This is the first and only sickness. Really. If that is, taken care of, the body illnesses, nobody cares. It's okay. Yeah, so that's what it is. It is there, but one overrides it. Just Swamiji, look how he is. Press the override button, and then, you just cruise along. Yeah, you're just living in the body. That's all it is. And so this has to be corrected because this manovyadhi is samsara. We are talking of garden variety neurosis, okay, not psychosis here. Yeah. So the garden variety neurosis, everyone has. Everyone is anxious, everyone is panicky, everyone is, forgetful, everyone is mistaking, has a subjective view, mistaking everything that is said and not understanding properly. This is called manovyadhi. This is the regular problem. And for this problem, this is the medicine. Sri Rudram is a nice dose. Yeah, this is each anuvaka. So this is a medicine that comes in 11 doses. Yeah. Each Anubhaka is a dose. And it's a timed release because it may not have immediate effect, like Ayurvedic medicine, you know. They will say do this, do that, and then along with the do's, and there are also some don'ts. I don't know why. You go to any Ayurvedic practitioner, first thing they cut out is eggplant, paprika. You know, don't eat. Don't eat eggplant. What poor eggplant has done, you know. Don't eat eggplant. And then, you know, they'll give you, so there are certain don'ts. Don't eat eggplant, don't eat potatoes. Those were the only things I used to eat. Now, one day I made eggplant and potatoes, another day potatoes and eggplant. This is how I ate. This was my diet. And then this Ayurvedic Vaidya, you know, Vichak, what did he say? He said, don't eat potatoes, don't eat eggplant. What should I do? Go on a fast? Good, you know. Yeah, so this is what the whole thing is. So there are certain do's. You know, take the kashaya that is given, take the doses, take the medicine has to be taken in a timely way, empty stomach, all these things they will tell you. And then, you know, they will either slather you with oil and make you come out like avakka, you know, at the end of the 15 days. You know, you're like a prune, you know, you're like a pickled, you know, object because you have sat in the oil, like even the mango pickle. And then after that what? Then you suddenly feel better. You don't know why. You know, whether it's the eggplant cleaning or whether it's the potato or what it is, you don't care. You are feeling better. Why? Because you have gone through a regimen. This Shri Rudram is the regimen for the disease of samsara, which is lodged in the mind and which is, you know, understood as affecting the mind. Because karma can only bring difficulty at the level of the body. But if the mind gets involved, that means I have entered into the murky waters of samsara. So therefore what? So therefore this is a very beautiful thing here. And here the devotee has been first praying out of the sense of fear, because that's the first, introduction to Bhagavan. Oh my God, who are you? Where are you? And what are you doing to me? Most importantly. So this why me syndrome starts right in the beginning of my nascent relationship with Bhagavan. And the parents don't help. They say you better pray. Some parents, otherwise something bad will happen. Why do they say that? Because they themselves are scared. Simple. Don't think they're trying to scare you. They're not trying to scare you. They themselves are scared and they're just merely passing on the fear as a legacy. That's all it is. Yeah. They're just passing on the fear. You better pray. Why? Because you don't know what will happen. And so you see, that's why that reading the translation of the Rudram doesn't work. Because perhaps that's what the parents and the elders have done. Oh my God, all these arrows, remember the last few classes, all these arrows directed only at me. Why me? Oh my God, me and my children and me and my family and me and my relatives and me and my, people. And all these difficulties are coming only to me. And so all these have to be warded off. So better pray. And in a way, it's not wrong also, but we don't have to have this, Udyata, what is that? Khadva. Khadva means sword. Udyata means the raised sword. Bhagavan, we don't have to picture, correct? That is the picture out of my own deficit of understanding. And the deficit of understanding, makes me fear people in authority, and Bhagavan being the ultimate boss, ultimate authority of the whole Jagat, there is a quaking feeling. And of course we grow up amongst religions, mainstream religions, who have made the whole religion into this thing. Yeah. You better be afraid, and so what should I do if I am afraid? Should I pray? No, yeah, you can pray, but first you have to declare you are saved. And they stoke the fear, these mainstream traditions. And then what do? Then they appoint themselves to put out the fire. Yeah. This is very interesting. Very strange. First you make the person horribly afraid. Already they are frightened. It doesn't take much. And then you tell them all these things. And then you tell, you give some, things. Pictures of hell, pictures of Naraka. And that's where you are headed. And then, but what about this Naraka right here? Don't worry about that. That Naraka is afterlife means will be hot forever. How can you be always burning? How long can something burn? Tell me. This eternal burning I have never understood. First of all, what is going to be burned? You have left the body behind, correct? And that which is unassailable by the five elements, this, all the desires and all, they are in a subtle form. They cannot be harmed by the elements. And then you go elsewhere, there also the same elements are there, And the fire, what is it burning? And how can you feel hot? Because when you have all the feeling, the things, the body are left behind here, correct? The body was already burnt. That's why you didn't get up and protest, because you didn't feel anything. It was just the body. You didn't say, what is this? You're keeping on piling wood on me. Have some shame. You didn't say that. Why? Because you had already vacated. It's a shell. The body has been vacated, correct? It's vacant. Yeah. It's vacant and it is Shiryamana Swabhava Shariram Shrill to disintegrate. It disintegrates completely. And so therefore we help it along because we don't want to watch it disintegrating. And so we help it along. We either put it 6 feet under or put it on the pyre, on the funeral pyre. We have to dispose of it. So that no one protests shows that nobody is there, correct? Otherwise you think even one small little burn from the gas fire or from small thing, and the hand becomes what? The most beloved one. Until then I didn't even notice I had a hand. Now there's one small little burn and then you show it to all the friends. Look what happened. And they need a microscope, a magnifying glass to even see where the burn is, because it's not that serious. But then you are convinced it is 3rd degree, you are contemplating going to emergency, and you think that this whole body being burnt, a person would tolerate? Not at all. That means what? That there is nobody there, correct? And so what survives? There is something that survives the birth. All religions say this. Yes. So then that which survives is immune to the 5 elements, correct? Obviously, otherwise it wouldn't have survived. It would also have disintegrated along with the along with the body. So the mind survives, it is subtle. It is immune to the 5 elements in a way because it's immune only to the gross 5 elements. There are subtle 5 elements because the subtle 5 elements, are that from which the mind, the chitta, the various aspects of the mind, chitta, ahankara, buddhi, etc. are all crafted from the subtle elements. So the subtle elements are not succumbing to the gross elements because they are not able to be objectified so easily. Correct? So then when the subtle elements go to this hot afterlife, what is going to be burnt? I don't understand. This is all just some problems. So first they put you in peril and then, stoke the fear fire. And then they appoint themselves as, the firemen and firewomen. Yeah. So they come with a big fire extinguisher. This is not our tradition at all. We don't need anything to be extinguished. Why? Because the whole idea is to show that samsara is a subjective understanding that I am burning, that I am not burning, I am not in peril. And this understanding is depicted in the verse, in the mantra that we just chanted. It is so beautiful. And here it shows the agency of the human being, the agency of one's power. To what? To even make Bhagavan disarm. Very nice. So what I want to see in Bhagavan is a disarming presence. Correct? It disarms me of all my offensive and of all my omissions and commissions and all my offensive ways of being. Not only does it disarm me, itself is a disarming presence. Means all the, ayudhas, weapons that I saw directed against me, what happened? Now I see them all at rest. They are around, but they are at rest. Why are they at rest? What made Bhagavan put down the weapons? Suddenly this Bhagavan who was having the arrow and bow, my own change in my vision, my own maturity that I have got in these verses, in the study of these verses, my own maturity, my own emotional threshold has increased. This is what one has to do. One has to increase the threshold. Threshold for all kinds of difficulties. And when my threshold increases, then what happens? My emotional threshold, my cognitive threshold, when it increases, then these don't become objects of fear. So now I am recrafting my image of Bhagavan. So pramuncha means muncha, leave. Pramuncha. It's a emphasized muncha. That's why I said muncha. Muncha. We leave. Leave what? Dhanmanaha, of the bow. You know, dhanmanaha, ubhayaha, artnyoho, ubhayaha, both. Of the bow, artnyoho. Artni means ends. Ends, you know. The bow is actually not like a bow. It's not bent. Why? Because it's actually straight. And on the two ends, there are these little rings provided, which are fixed to the bow. Sometimes they are carved into the wood, and those rings are there. And then the wood being pliable, it bends into the shape of what is now called a bow, because the string that I tie is shorter than the piece of wood. Simple. Yeah, that's all it is. And in fact, not everyone can string the bow. You have to have instructions. You have to become first student of Dronacharya or student of Arjuna or someone, and then you have to get lessons in stringing. Otherwise, what will happen? An inexpert person stringing the bow, what will happen? When you try to bend it, it would come and hit you. Yeah, boomerang it will become. And so you can have sustained injuries. Or it can just fly off somewhere because of the velocity of the bending and then releasing. So there is a certain way to do it. You step on you first tie one string, that's a no-brainer. And then you have to step on that, ring or the thing, and then you have to bend it, and that's not easy to bend the wood. Even though it's pliable, it's not, you have to have a lot of strength, upper arm strength, then you bend it, and you cannot waste time tying the next string. The next string and in the next hole is tied very quickly, and it has to be tight, because if it is loose, you cannot have it around you. Again, it will fly off somewhere. So it has to be tight, it has to be proper, what kind of knots, all these things are there. And sometimes the string is made of, animal skin or something like that. What is that? With a guitar you play with that, the violin. Yeah, something like that. So some kind of an animal product it used to be made of. And so this is, this is why the Brahmanas are exempt from this. That's why Drona is criticized, because even being a Brahmana, he became a teacher of archery, and went in, delved in gut and other things. And so that's why he is criticized in the Mahabharata for that, and he becomes an archetype of what happens when you leave Swadharma. Paradharmo bhayavaha. Correct? Yeah. So then, this is what, so this is what entails in stringing the bow. And so here I see Bhagavan, and I command Bhagavan, pramuncha, let go of what? Dhanmanaha ubhayoho artnyoho pramuncha. Artnyoho jyam pramuncha. So the pramuncha goes with jyam. What is jya? Jya or jaha is string. Yeah. So jyam, second case, pramuncha. Let the string go. Untie this bow, O Bhagavan. Untie this bow. Untie the string. Unstring this bow. untie the string which is strung at both ends, ubhayoho both, arpnyoho the ends, jyam. That string, muncha muncha, ramuncha. So first I thought he is like this, ready to, with the arrow also fitted in, directed straight at my heart. And then what? Now I tell him, now we are on friendly terms because I'm no longer scared. So now I tell him, what's the hurry for this karma phala? Kya kar rahe ho? Let go. You also relax. I'm offering Naivedya, Pranaya Swaha, Bhalaya Swaha, Vyanaya Swaha. See how crafty, very nice, strategic craftiness, discovered by this newly minted devotee. I have many lifetimes, don't worry, why you are in such a hurry? Let go, relax, I'm giving you, incense. Yeah. The Shambham, Gugulam, Dhupam, I'm giving, made of all kinds of fragrant flowers. I'm offering Dhupam. And look at this lovely light. Don't you like the sound of this tinky ting? Well, I'm doing all these things. Relax, come on. What's the rush? I'm here. Of course, karma phalas have to come. They'll come. But right now, you look really stressed. You need to relax. So I have got superimposed my own things on Bhagavan and I'm recrafting a new image of Bhagavan. This is the beauty of our tradition. I can superimpose anything on anything, and I'm using strategically my own subjectivity to immediately have two effects. The first effect is to recraft Bhagavan as a pleasing presence, and while I recraft Bhagavan, I'm also invoking, because Pramuncha, I'm commanding Bhagavan. I'm demanding, come on, leave this, let go of this, what are you doing, stringing bow? I'm here trying to pray to you. In the second instance, this invocation becomes a prayer. And every prayer has an effect. And here the effect of my thought makes Bhagavan into Saumya Murti from Rudra Murti. Yeah. Rudra means, Rudre Bhavam. Yeah, that which is born of Rudra, that is, so Rudra means terrifying, Saumya means a pleasing, calming countenance here. Why? Because I pleased Bhagavan so much that when he was not looking, I took the quiver from the shoulder and put it down. It will all come now. And then I took the bow and made him only unstring it, because I don't know how, I took the arrow, and when he was not looking, what did I do? I just rubbed it against a stone so that the mouth of it was blunted, and I didn't feel the sharp ends even if he released it. So all this I did, and I just kept him in good humor, and all I could see was there was a blessing present, because he was not busy stringing the bow and then stringing a whole lot of karma laws against me. Now when the dhanu becomes shanta, when the bow and the arrow lose their urgency, what happens? That means my prayer has worked. My prayer has worked to stall the karma, because I am stalling Bhagavan now, and very cleverly I have stalled the karma. I have said to the karma, stop, wait, what is the rush? I'm not going anywhere. You can also just wait and slowly. So pramuncha dhanvanaha ubhayoho dhanvanaha of the bow 6 case, ubhayoho of both, arpnyoho of the ends, jyam the string, let go of the string. And once it is unstrung, I can relax. This is called relaxing in the order of Bhagavan through the prayer, neutralizing my own karma. Do you see how it is no good to sit and wail? See, one can sit and wail, or one can actively pray. And here was Bhagavan, ready to strike. And what happened to this Bhagavan? Now Bhagavan is smiling at me and has let go of the very dangerous looking bow and the even more dangerous arrow, because the bow itself, see, we are not worried about the arrow, because the arrow cannot be thrown. It has to be strung, put in the bow and released. So we go to the source and say, unstring this bow. So that the arrow, where will the arrow come from then? Yeah. Then what? Then we look at the arrow little later, no problem. First the bow has to be unstrung. Then avatatya. Tat is the, what is that? Is the from tan to tighten. Avatatya means having loosened, having untied. Avatatya dhanuhu, having untied the bow. Who's yours? Tvam, you. Sahasraksha, shate shudhe, shata ishudhihi. Ishudhi means quiver. Yeah. Ishudhi also means the one who wields the quiver. Yeah. Ishudhihi, quiver. Ishudhi also means the wielder of the quiver. Shata Ishudhi, Shate Shudhe means unto the wielder of 100 quivers. Oh my God. If you've seen an archer, at the most you have one quiver, correct? Full of arrows. Quiver means the little, container for the arrows is called a quiver. And looking at one itself makes me quiver. That's why it's called quiver. Because you see all these arrows, and sometimes they are poison tipped. According to my karma, I'm seeing Bhagavan, poison tipped, very sharp, all these things, toxic arrows. One quiver itself makes me quiver, and Bhagavan is depicted as the wielder of 100 quivers. We are not talking of arrows. Each quiver may have 100 arrows. We don't know the size of them. We are talking of someone who is sporting on his back 100 quivers. Oh my God. That's a lot of quivers. That shows the unending, what is that? Onslaught of karma. Unending onslaught of karma. So many quivers. We cannot say so little time, because for Bhagavan, next life is also there. So one quiver this life, one quiver next life, after that, dog life, cat life, donkey life, centipede life, earthworm life, another useless human life. Like this it keeps on going and going and going strong. So this quiver is something to be quivered at. So you can take it two ways, One is, this is the sanchita karma, my collected karmas. From all these lives, whenever I have ignored or neglected or gone against dharma, correct? Yeah. When was the first life? We cannot ask that question. Why? Anadimat. There is no first life. Because we are used now, because we live in this world of rational, so-called rational logical thinking, we see everything straight line. But usually it's a circle. Yeah. Everything that comes from the east is circle. Round, Purna, Even the teaching is what? You are Purna, complete. There is a circle there. And the samsara is also another circle. Yeah, this one is full, this one is hollow. That's all. Both of them are circles. Both are infinite. Yeah, if you don't select the Purna, samsara circle is also infinite. So from this infinite circle, samsara circle, with the infinite number of births, with the infinite number of all kinds of deeds that I have done, which are now represented in the form of 100 quivers. Each arrow is one life. Think about it. But then why are they just not a heap of arrows? No. This is an intelligent universe. Bhagavan's knowledge. So all the four-footed, animal births, potential, are in one quiver. All the bipeds, birds, etc., in another quiver. Useless human life, third quiver. Like this. Sickness, fourth quiver, and all kinds of, financial losses. Blessed by Shani, one is born. Sixth quiver, like that we can keep listing. So each quiver could be one kind of karma, one kind of life, one kind of, onslaught. Mental turmoil, emotional turmoil, this, that, physical, things, abundance. Yeah, and then in one quiver, all the marriages. Yeah, think about it. All the marriages of so many lifetimes. My God, this one itself I can barely manage. Yeah. that which is always at best barely managed is called marriage. Only one letter is off. Marriage, that's all. That which I can barely manage, that which is barely manageable is called marriage. And one full quiver of arrows, each arrow representing a various kinds of marriages. Yeah. You know, from not so happy to unhappy. You know, the whole range is covered. You know, so therefore, this is all my bad karma, this is all my papa. It's not that Bhagavan is crafting these various, what is that, like a Guantanamo Bay torturer, you know, crafting various kind of waterboarding and other instruments of torture. Bhagavan is not represented as a sadist, not a sadist. It's my own karma. Bhagavan's imagination, how to best deploy this karma for this person, that's all. So, my own karma, when I see, you know, forget the quivers, I start to quiver. So, oh, Shata Ishudhi, oh you, the one who is having these 1,000 quivers, and Sahasraksha that we have already seen, the one who, nothing, from whom nothing escapes. Here we have to take that second meaning. Not that everything is Bhagavan, that meaning doesn't apply here. The one who is the seer of all the things that I do. The one who is Aluktadrik. What is Aluktadrik? Huh? One without eyelids. Puja Swamiji shows like this. One who is always present. Because even when you blink, you can miss something. Especially if you have a toddler, you know. You blink and it was sitting right here and then it's gone into the other room and also managed to unravel all the knitting. Yeah, that you have done for 3 days. Yeah. In one blink of the eye, you know. So that is the whole thing. And so here Bhagavan doesn't even blink. Sahasraksha, all the 1,000 eyes, reflected on all your actions because that's how the karma phala can come. Correct? All the 1,000 pairs of 1,000 here is countless. Countless eyes or pairs of eyes, you know, reflected totally, you know, deployed totally on your actions so that the results can be counted properly. And here they all are, oh you, one who never misses anything. And then because you are Sahasraksha, you have 1,000 eyes, that's why you have hundreds of quivers. Because what the eyes noted, you know, came out in the form of the quivers. Yeah, because you saw with the eyes, you tabulated my karma. With these 1,000 eyes, you tabulate the karma of all the jivas. And then you start sharpening the arrows. And then you start making quiver of all the animal skins to put the arrows in very knowledgeably, according to a certain style. With a sense of humor, right? Because Bhagavan does have a sense of humor. How can you tell? Look at your own life. Yeah. You will see Bhagavan's sense of humor. Look at your own life. You know, that's what it is. And then, you know, this is how the whole thing proceeds. And then you can see the sense of humor. And sometimes, you know, we ask for foolish things and then they come true. And how they come true is also very funny. Yeah. One lady told me, I met her at an interfaith meeting. And she belongs to some indigenous African tradition, you know. And she had gone through a very bad divorce and she was, you know, she was over it. And she was hoping to meet someone, you know, in her life and everything. So she said, please pray for me. I said, I will pray. I said, what do you do in your tradition? Oh, she said, we have a very effective ritual to invite male energy. I said, please do that. So she did that ritual, spent a lot of money to invite positive male energy. And then, you know, I said, I met her 6 months later or 1 year later. I said, how did the prayer work out? What happened to the ritual? She says, God does have a sense of humor. I said, what happened? She says, I suddenly got 5, very big male students. Yeah, so that's the thing, you know. So they came in, the male energy did come, but it came in the form of students. Yeah, not partner. So, not partner material at all. Yeah, so this is what happened. So Bhagavan has energy and she said they are very helpful, they are wonderful, they are very devoted and reverential, but this is how it is. So this is what Bhagavan has a sense of humor. The quivers, even though they have my name on each of them, and the arrows too, they are crafted just for me, but not without a sense of humor. It's like each quiver is saying many happy returns into samsara. That's why in birthday you say many happy return. Yeah, you are back again. That's what it is. And you are still here. That's what we are acknowledging. And then, so that is the first meaning of Shate Shudhe, thousands of quivers, hundreds of quivers. So first meaning is what? I take it as various, my own avatars represented in the quivers. Each lifetime is one quiver. We can take it like that. Or my own sanchita karma. Then the another meaning, as each quiver is belonging to one jiva. And then you see the whole karma of everyone unfolding simultaneously. This is on the Adhideva level. On the Adhyatma level, I can take it as all directed at me, as all of them just for my sake alone. So Sahasraksha, Hey Sahasraksha, Shate Shudhe, Hey Shate Shudhe. Oh you, what are you? You please Pramuncha Dhanmanaha Tvam, and then, Avatatya Dhanusvam Sahasraksha Shate Shudhe. Avatatya means having untied your bow. You just be a blessing. It is not said here, but you please be a blessing presence in my life. Don't be a harming presence. Look at how much guts the devotee has got. First was shaking. Oh, Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Shaking. It was not even cold, but quivering, literally. Namaste Rudra Vanyava. Vanyave Namaha. First I see you as very angry. Namaskar to your anger. Namaskar to your hands. Why? Because they are holding this very scary looking strung bow, in which there is not just one arrow, because if you are really a good archer, you can shoot 5-6 arrows at a time in different directions. Yeah, Arjuna could do that. So 5-6 arrows directed straight at me. Bahubhyam Namaha, Namaha to those hands that are wielding the bow, Namaha to the bow, Namaha to the arrow, Namaha to your anger, which is again a wrong superimposition. See, my own karma I am seeing as your anger. See how long way this devotee has grown. First he was just groaning, now he has grown. He has grown and he is now commanding Bhagavan in lot, imperative mood. Pramuncha, put that down. What are you doing? Don't you see I am praying and my action is already neutralizing this karma. Better put that down. Pramuncha, not only put that down, but also let go of that string which is tying the bow. And we know you have 1,000 quivers. And then what? And you have and each quiver has so many, 1,000 arrows. So all these hundreds of thousands of karma directed against me. Stop! Please! This is not begging. This is deploying my prayer and seeing that as the instant result of my prayer disarms Bhagavan. Yeah. And you will see that by the end of the Anuvaka, the devotee gets even more strategically crafty. Yeah. Nishirya Shalya Namukha. Nishirya Shalya Namukha. Shivo Sumana Bhava.
Shivo Sumana Bhava.
Vidyam Dhanu.
Vidyam Dhanu.
Kapardino. Vishalyo. Banavagum Uta. Nishirya Shalya Namukha.
Nishirya Shalya Namukha.
Vidyam dhanuh kapardino.
Vidyam dhanuh kapardino.
Vishalyo banavagam uta.
Vishalyo banavagam uta.
Yeah. So Shri means to disintegrate. Shirya, Nishirya. You know, Nishirya means having disintegrated. What? Shalya. Shalya here means arrow. Shalyanam of the arrows. Mukha. Mukhani it should be. But Mukha, okay, Chandasam. Mukha means the face of the arrows, the point of the tip of the arrows. Nishirya. Having disintegrated the tip of the arrows. Meaning what? These arrows are very sharp and poison tipped. Correct? The poison is my own karma. The arrow is just a means to deliver this karma. Correct? So now I am getting craftier, and since I'm comfortable in the mode of prayer, I am commanding and requesting Bhagavan again. So what do? Take the arrow from those thousands, put the quivers down, unstring the bow, correct? And then put the quiver down. And then the arrows, now we have to deal with the arrows because he could throw them. You never know with this Bhagavan. You know, like Narasimha Avatar, you know, and or so many things we have seen in the stories. You know, what happens, you know, the devotee turned demon because of the hubris, praise. I want to have world domination. Tathastu. Okay, then I should be deathless because the fellow thinks the body is Atma. So I want the body to be preserved always. I shouldn't have death. Then what? Shouldn't die in the morning. Okay. Shouldn't die by night. Okay, no problem. And then shouldn't die during in the house. Okay. Shouldn't die outside the house. Okay. Shouldn't die on the ground. Okay. No problem. So everything has a loophole. Bhagavan is a great lawyer because all the loopholes are known. Correct? Completely. So then for Bhagavan, for Vishnu, it didn't even take a second to calculate what should be done here. Shouldn't die by a human hand. Okay. Shouldn't die by animals. Okay. You know, put the two together. Yeah. Lion head, human body. Confusing, correct? Yeah. And then what? Then we have lion head, human body, and then what do we have? Then we have the threshold. That's why the threshold exists. That's why after this Narasimha Avatara, we don't do anything at the threshold. You don't do namaskara at the threshold, you don't do any give and take at the threshold. The threshold is a very dangerous place. And all the pallis and everything hang out there. So then we fall. These geckos, you know, yeah. Geckos all love to hang out there. Geckos are all Shiva Ganas, you know. And they just signify bad things by falling straight on the head. And so therefore the threshold is not a place of transaction. It is something to be quickly gone through. That's why. You never give things in. That's why Sita got into trouble because Ravana recognized this Rekha as the threshold and he asked her to step outside. And because of this convention she stepped outside, got into trouble. You know, but the normal threshold, because of Narasimha Avatara, is permanently vitiated in the Hindu, cultural ethos, completely. You never do anything in there, you don't give, you don't take, you either come in or the other person, you ask them to step out. That is how the whole thing is. And so here, the threshold was there just because it represents neither in nor out. And of course, I shouldn't be killed in the morning, not in the afternoon, not in the night. No problem. There is evening, twilight. That is what it was made for. And then, so he chooses twilight, he chooses the threshold, and I should not be killed in the air, I should not be killed in the ground. No, come sit on my lap. Right here, ajao beta, and my lap is here. And I should not be, no weapons. I have just had a lovely manicure. Yeah. And and that's why this is what is called a loophole clause, pun intended. Yeah. So this particular clause, pun intended, is the loophole with which I will immediately go into your Manipura chakra, the ego, the navel is the standing for the ego, and then just give you instant moksha. That's all it is. And actually it needs a lot of punya to die at the hands of Bhagavan, really. So these demons were very blessed. So these loopholes, so Bhagavan, has so many, he is the master of loopholes. So he can say, I don't need a archer, I don't need you have made me unspin the bow, but you forget I was a javelin thrower, and I can take the arrow and direct it. So now having dealt with the bow, now these individual small annoying and big annoying karmas, I am saying, please, O Bhagavan, take the arrow and then rub it against the ground. What will you do? You blunt the tip of it, and then even when the karma is come at me, it will not hurt me so sharply. It will not hurt me. So just scratch the tip on any surface and blunt the tip. Yeah, Nishirya Salyanam Mukha Shivaha, O Shiva, Shiva. Naha towards us. It's a collective prayer towards us. Sumana Bhava, be a blessing presence. More we'll see tonight. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri